Okay, so picture this. You're just living your life right, maybe thinking about a trip or something, and then boom, it hits you. Your green card's about to expire. Talk about stressful, am I right? Especially these days.
Well, luckily, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, they actually just made a change to green card renewals, and it might make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's right. So as of September 10th of this year, 2024, USCIS is going to automatically extend green cards for anyone renewing for a full 36 months. That's like a whole extra year than the 24-month extension they had before.
Okay, so that 36 months, that definitely jumps out at you.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like, though, for someone who's in the middle of renewing their green card? Like, say their card is going to expire soon, or maybe it's already expired. What happens then? Well, if your green card is up for renewal and you're freaking out about that date, yeah, this new extension could be a game changer. Like, imagine this, you're planning that trip we were talking about, and your renewal is still pending. Without this extension, you might be stuck. But now with the 36 months and the ADIT stamp that stands for Alien Documentation Identification and Telecommunications, you're good to go. It basically proves you're legal to travel and come back to the U.S., even if you're waiting for that new card. Lifesaver, right?
Okay, so this ADIT stamp is like a bridge, then keeping you in good standing while you wait. That definitely takes the pressure off. But let's back up a sec. What if you're just starting the renewal process? What's that going to look like?
First things first, you have to file Form I-90. That's the official application to renew your green card. And this is where that automatic extension kicks in. USCIS is putting it on every new I-90 application from September 10th on.
So you file your paperwork, then what? How do you prove you're covered while you wait?
That's where your receipt notice comes in. You see, as soon as USCIS processes your application, they'll send you this notice. And it's super important to hang on to this thing. It's not just proof that USCIS got your application. It actually proves you're here legally and lets you keep working while you wait for the actual green card.
It's like having a little reassurance while you're going through this whole process. Makes sense. But with these crazy long processing times, we always hear about being able to update your info easily has got to be super important, right? It's like if the mailman's trying to deliver a package, if your address isn't up to date, they don't know where to go. And we're talking about your green card here. That's kind of important.
Oh, totally. A wrong address with USCIS can mean some crazy delays. And trust me, nobody wants that. But the good news is USCIS has been trying to get with the times. You know, that online account we talked about, it's actually pretty useful these days. You can update your address check on your case and even message USCIS directly.
It's like they finally joined the 21st century, right? But speaking of modern times, these backlogs and long processing times, we keep hearing it's like a broken record. Do you think this 36-month extension is USCIS's way of saying, hey, we know things are a mess?
You know what? That's a really good point. It does seem like USCIS is finally realizing how much their system is struggling. And for the people going through this process, it must be a huge relief. Less stress, less uncertainty. It's easy to forget when you're dealing with paperwork, but this is about real lives, their jobs, their ability to travel, even just having peace of mind.
Exactly. It's easy to get lost in the weeds, but we can't forget that these immigration processes, they affect real people in a real way. It's not about deadlines and forms. It's about people's futures.
That's it, exactly. And that's why I think this extension is such a big deal. It could be a sign that USCIS is trying to be more flexible, more understanding. But it also makes you wonder, is this just a temporary fix, or is this the beginning of some major changes at USCIS?
Yeah, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. This extension helps in the short term, but those crazy processing times are still there. What do you think? Is there anything they can do to fix the root of the issue?
That's a tough one. There's no easy answer.
Yeah.
The backlog at USCIS, it comes from a lot of different places. More and more applications, budget cuts, you name it. Fixing it is going to take a lot of different approaches. They might need to streamline their processes, get some tech upgrades, and even hire more people.
So this extension is great news for green card holders, but it also highlights just how badly things need to change at USCIS.
Absolutely. It really begs the question, what would a truly efficient and fair immigration system look like, and how do we make it happen?
Now, those are questions we're thinking about. But for someone going through this whole green card renewal thing right now, I bet this extension feels like a huge weight off their shoulders.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Just knowing you have that extra time, no more worrying about your status expiring or having to put your life on hold. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it reminds you that even though the system needs work, there are still some positive changes happening.
Exactly. And for the people going through it, those changes can make all the difference.
Okay, so we've talked about the extension itself, but what about the bigger picture? Yeah, it kind of feels like this whole extension thing could be a sign of more changes to come, you know? Like USCIS is starting to loosen up a little bit. Makes you wonder if we'll see more of this kind of thing in the future. What are your thoughts?
It's definitely possible. I mean, the problems USCIS is dealing with, they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And hey, they've shown they're willing to adapt, at least with this extension. It'll be interesting to see if this leads to them taking a harder look at the system and all the roadblocks in it.
For sure, we'll have to stay tuned. But for our listeners who are in the thick of it right now, what advice would you give them?
Honestly, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your immigration status. I always tell people, stay informed. That's the name of the game. The USCIS website, it's a gold mine of information. They've got the latest on processes, forms, policy changes, you name it.
Yeah, you go straight to the source. No more relying on rumors or outdated info. And of course, talking to an immigration attorney never hurts, especially if you want someone to hold your hand through the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. They can give you advice that's tailored to your situation,
Yeah,
answer any questions you have, and just make the whole immigration process a little less scary.
because let's be real, dealing with immigration can sometimes feel like you're trying to learn a whole new language.
Ha ha. That's a perfect way to put it. Look, we tried to make things a bit clearer today, but there's nothing like having an expert in your corner.
Well said. Well, we've covered a lot today, from the nitty-gritty of the green card extension to what it could mean for the future of USCIS. Hopefully, our listeners are walking away feeling a little more in the know and ready to tackle whatever comes next.
I hope so too. I hope this deep dive cleared some things up, answered some questions, and maybe even got people thinking about the bigger picture of immigration and how it's changing.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, this isn't just about rules and paperwork. It's about people, their lives, their dreams. So to everyone listening out there, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay hopeful. We'll keep diving into these topics and bringing you the information you need to navigate it all. Until next time.